Hello and welcome to Trionic 7. This is Phoenix, my red 2009 Saab 9.5 Griffin. And today it's your favorite type of video because we're gonna do a mod to this car. This is my favorite mod and it's quite easy to install, so I recommend it to everybody. So I like the look of this car with only the fog lights and parking lights on when driving. I think it looks cool and also has the benefit of saving the Xenon headlights. You know, those bulbs are very expensive to replace. Problem is, the settings this car has from factory makes it quite annoying and difficult to use this daily. This is the main light switch on the left side of the steering wheel, and here is the fog light switch. There are 3 positions to the switch. We will call them 0, 1 and 2. And this is the normal mode that you always use your car in. Now this is gonna depend on where you live and for which market the car was programmed. But this car in Sweden is programmed in the following way. In position 2, the parking lights are on and so are the low beams. The fog light is off when the button is off and on when the button is on. So when we turn on the fog lights, the low beams are still on in this mode. Instead, we can switch to mode number 1. This will turn off the low beams and only have the parking lights on. So you can leave the car in this position when driving and everything will look great. Problem is that when you turn off the car and lock it, the parking lights will not turn off. So in this mode, you have to be careful that you turn off the lights like this before leaving. It's a bit of back and forth, annoying all the time. Also, if you turn on the car and forget to do this first, the xenon lights will still turn on and then you turn them off, so it counts as one cycle, which still wears the light. The on and off cycling wears the light much more than the actual hours of burning. Mode 0 is another mode, but from factory this will turn on the parking lights and also the low beams. But in this video I will show you how to make the headlights look cool without too much of a hassle. We will be able to leave the car in this mode with the fog light switch enabled, and we have the fog light and parking lights only. Then, if it gets dark, we just switch to this position and the fog light will turn off even though I'm not clicking the button, and then the low beams will turn on. This means we have 2 modes, nighttime and daytime. And daytime will look cool with fog lights and parking lights only. Also, leaving the car in any of these modes will not turn on the headlights and will never drain the battery. But just a little side note. Here in Sweden, it's actually illegal to drive with both the low beams and the fog lights on at the same time. I know this is different in other countries, but the lawmakers have decided that the fog light and the low beam together is very blinding to oncoming drivers. So an important aspect of our mod is having the fog lights switch off just by turning the switch. We will never have to operate the fog light switch ever again. It can stay enabled. Yet another benefit is in the high beams. When we have mode 2 and enable the high beams, the fog lights will turn on as well. So the high beam will consist of everything. High beam bulbs, low beam bulbs without the shutter, and the fog lights. Gives this extra oomph in the darkness. In my humble opinion, the programming we'll do today is the programming that should have been done from factory. In Swedish, we often call this mod the taxi mod because this is what taxi drivers usually do. They drive with parking lights and fog lights only all day and then switch to the low beams at night. Now, you might be aware that I have a video on this mod from before, but that was way back when the channel was very young and I didn't really know how to make videos. And that wasn't really a step-by-step either, just my recollection of how the mod was done. Today though, we're gonna do this mod step-by-step to the Phoenix and I will bring you along. Let's go. You will need a pair of cutters and the Saab Tech 2 instrument. There are only 2 steps to this mod. First, we pull out the light switch and then we find one of the wires going to it and cut it off. I know it sounds very drastic, but trust me, it works. If you don't have a Tech 2, and I know it's a complex tool to get, you can turn the car to mode 0, cut the wire, but then operate the fog light manually when you turn it to night mode, mode 2. But the most important step of this mod is to cut the wire, otherwise the low beams will stay on in mode 0. First, we remove the light switch. You open the door. You remove the fuse panel, this door here. Then you feel inside with your hand, and then you can push the light switch out. And here we look for the wire going to pin number 10 on the connector. On this car, at 2009, the wire is blue and white. But if your car is from 2005 or older, it will have a pink color instead. So, Saab 9.5 model years 1998 to 2005, cut the pink wire. Saab 9.5 from 2006 to 2010, cut the blue-white wire.
Okay, so now I want you to cut the blue and white wire.
And the wire is cut. maybe it's a good idea to put some electrical tape over the loose ends so they don't cause any problems. Next, time for the Tech 2 programming. Turn the ignition on. As you can see, we are 162,088 kilometers. Start the Tech 2. We go to diagnostics, choose our model year. We have a 2009 Saab 9.5. Then we go to body and choose dice. This is the module that controls all the lights and doors and these little things. Takes a little while to get to the menu. Then we go to F3 adjustment. Here the most important setting is the Foglight variant, and Saab gives you 3 options here. Alternative 1 is what's from factory. We're gonna change this, change to desired setting alternative 3 and then press OK. And now the fog lights will turn off when the low beam is on. It's as simple as that, but I also want to go out to the daylight driving lights, because if you're in a different market than Sweden or Europe, this might be set to a different setting. I'm using alternative 2. I don't really know the difference between 1, 2 and 3, but if you have problems getting the same configuration as I have, go to alternative 2. But be mindful, laws for headlights are different in every country and region, so make sure you follow your local laws. Another good idea is to go back out to lights on warning. This gives off a warning chime if you were to forget the car in position 1, i.e. parking lights only. And that's it for programming. We can now turn the Tech 2 off. Now simply push the light switch back into its seat and you're all set. I will now leave the fog light switch enabled basically forever, and I can now switch between day driving and night driving. Let me show you what this looks like. So for day driving, you can see I have fog lights and parking lights. If I try to engage the high beam, it will only flash and will not stay on. Now, if I switch to mode number 2, the fog lights will turn off, the parking lights will stay on, and the low beams will turn on. And in this mode, the high beams also work, so I can engage them. And as you can see, with the high beams on, the fog lights turn on as well. And disengage. And that's how we get great looking fog lights on the Saab 9.5. If you have any questions, or if you try this mod, or if you have feedback of any kind, please start the discussion down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching Trionic 7. We always have more Saab videos coming up, so check out our channel. Don't forget social media, Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit and Instagram. I will see you guys in the next Saab video. Bye for now.